singing of our national anthem by WCHS senior Satari Sadeghi.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched. We're so streaming, and the rockets red-glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You may be seated.
Good evening. On behalf of our class and everyone on stage, we'd like to welcome you to the graduation ceremony of the class of 2021. I didn't think I'd make it this far.
Although the latter half of our high school experience was different than those who came before us, we've made it here all the same. We're able to face the world as it was completely changing, and instead of letting it weigh us down, we use it to help push us forward. Before we cross this threshold to our adult lives, we must take the time to appreciate those who have led us here.
To the dedicated parents, families, and friends of this class, thank you. Not a single student here today would be able to be here without your love and support.
To our beloved teachers, faculty, counselors, support staff, coaches, and building service workers, thank you for watching over us and fueling our growth every step of the way. We would also like to take this time to thank our honored guests on stage for their unconditional support.
Special thanks to Ms. Silvestri, Ms. Dyson, and Dr. Moran for their tireless work across the county. They've laid the foundation upon which our school is able to function.
Last, but certainly not least, special thanks to Mr. Taylor, Dr. Kim, Dr. Smith, Miss Swedensky, Dr. Alley, Miss Murphy, and Miss Hill. Without the guidance of our cluster principals, we wouldn't have made it to high school, let alone graduation.
And to every single member of this class, we've been thinking about this day for the past 4 years. As we sit here and listen to all 536 names of your classmates, remember the moments that made your time at Churchill special. Whether it was winning states with your athletics team, meeting your best friend at a science lab table, or the first day of our 2-week virus-induced vacation. These moments will stick with you for the rest of your lives.
While we might not remember everything we've accomplished during our time at Churchill, we'll look back on what we do remember for the rest of our lives. In this moment right now, our high school graduation will be a moment to remember. Today, we turn towards a new beginning. We'll be moving forward. We will be making progress, and we will be reaching our goals. So let's get on with it.
Good evening. My name is Armand Philippe.
Hi, I'm Tristan.
As we enter the next chapter of our lives, the class of 2021 would like to take a moment to recognize the late Jake Castle. While this may not be his graduating class, Jake has always been a part of the class of 2021 family. He adored his friends and classmates at Churchill and loved being a part of the Churchill community. Taking up the mantle of the Bulldog mascot brought him enormous joy and pride, and all of us still remember him as the most cheerful and spirited mascot during our sports games. If Jake were here today, he would be first in line to high five every graduate with the biggest smile on his face. So the Cassell family and I encourage you all to remember the example of unconditional love, friendship, and empathy that he set for the rest of us.
With that being said, the class of 2021 is proud to announce that our senior gift will be a $2,000 donation to the Jake Castle Scholarship Fund at the Diener School, where Jake attended from 4th to 7th grade. This fund, through Jake's name, will award scholarships each year to deserving and bright young special needs students who have a unique story and financial need to attend the Diener School. Our donation will be going towards a wonderful and nurturing school that meets each young student in their development process. A place where Jake was given the mentorship and opportunity to thrive and become the kind, intelligent, confident, and outgoing young man that we all remember. While many of us may be looking to the future with uncertainty, excitement, or even fear, we should remember to continue to strive to live like Jake and love like Jake. Thank you.
To my fellow graduating classmates, beloved teachers and parents, and gracious viewers from home, good evening. My name is Jessica Hu.
And my name is Sangeet Anand.
And today we have the great privilege to introduce our highly prolific and generous guest of honor, Elizabeth Campbell.
Graduating from Churchill in 2014, Elizabeth was highly involved with the Bulldog community, taking part in tech crew for blast and musical productions, and serving as a member of Habitat for Humanity. It was also at Churchill where Elizabeth first discovered and cultivated her passion for journalism, serving as the editor-in-chief of The Observer.
Following her years spent at Churchill, Elizabeth furthered her education at TCU, Texas Christian University, Go Frogs, where she received an advanced dual degree, a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism and a Bachelor of Science in Political Science.
Aside from being a diligent student, Elizabeth also worked tirelessly as a journalist for the109.org, which is a news media site based in Fort Worth, Texas. Starting as a life and culture line editor, Elizabeth then advanced to taking on a more acclaimed role as a local government reporter the following year.
As a local government reporter, Elizabeth produced stories focused around the Fort Worth city government. Under this title, she fostered her interest in producing stories covering local politics. In her final year spent with the 109, Elizabeth was promoted to managing editor, where she oversaw all 109 news media productions.
Thereafter, Elizabeth founded PolitiFrog, which is a student-run media outlet at TCU, which covers engaging and educational political developments across the board, including sports features, current day events, and local news in the Fort Worth area.
During her years at TCU, Elizabeth also received various esteemed internships with CBS Corporation in Fort Worth and CBS News Face the Nation in the Washington, D.C. metro area. Through these internships, Elizabeth continued to pursue her passion for producing local multimedia news productions.
Following these internships, Elizabeth further developed her professional career with CBS, starting first as a freelancer, broadcast associate, and associate producer. Elizabeth progressed to become a full-time CBS producer focused on the production of multimedia stories covering local and global politics as well as sporting events.
Elizabeth's most notable features as a CBS producer have been conducting interviews with presidents and prime ministers from America and all around the world, covering presidential inaugurations, and covering presidential funerals. Additionally, Elizabeth has had the privilege to work alongside professional athletes such as Clayton Kershaw, as well as the New England Patriots following their Super Bowl win in 2019.
Producing a wide gamut of multimedia stories, Elizabeth is an accomplished journalist who has undoubtedly made our Bulldog community exceedingly proud. So with great honor,
Ladies and gentlemen,
please join us in welcoming
Elizabeth Campbell!
Well, thank you both very much for that introduction and great researching. If you need a job, let me know. Well, hello, class of 2021. And let me just start by saying how wonderful it is not to have to ask any of you to check your mutes or to turn your cameras on. As you've probably guessed from my background, cutting through spin and talking points is a big part of my job. So I won't wax poetically or offer you cheesy sayings. As a class who can survive an unprecedented global pandemic, you're well versed in practicality. Instead, let me offer you 5 pieces of what I think is good advice. I hope it guides you well on your next adventure. Tip number 1, everyone needs an editor. You will never write a perfect first draft of anything. It may be good, but it can always be better. This speech went through 7 editors. I asked some of the best writers and educators in the business how I could improve it. And although I didn't take every cheesy joke they suggested, I still listened to every piece of feedback to improve the speech as a whole. And since you're Churchill graduates, I know you're already well adept at writing essays. You've done more peer edit worksheets than you can count. But in college, rarely will you be so prompted. It will be on you to ask for help or to seek an appointment at your university's writing center. Even if you write a paper with a thesis that would make you proclaim, "Oh, the cleverness of me," the writing center will make your paper better. Because let's be honest, you were too busy focusing on that thesis to worry about when on earth you're actually supposed to use a semicolon. Now, again, since this is Churchill, I'm betting many of you are on the math or science track and thinking your days of having to worry about grammar and tense are over. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but not even close. No matter what field you're in, you're going to have to write. My brother and fellow Churchill grad is a computer programmer for NASA, working on literal rocket science, but he still calls his sister up when he has a company-wide email to send. To make a message out of this world, you need an editor. But take this tip one step further. Find yourself a life editor, that professor or mentor who can be a constant source of unbiased advice. When you go to college, you'll likely be assigned an advisor. This person may be helpful, or they may not be. Mine told me I would probably never achieve more than working as a reporter in a small-town newspaper. So you can imagine my vindication when I worked on part of the speech from the White House this week. As such, it's likely not a surprise that I ignored all of his advice and instead found my own mentor. Over my 4 years at TCU, she offered me countless pieces of advice that helped me academically and professionally. Nuggets like, you don't quit jobs, you quit people. But she also offered hard truths when I needed to hear them. And yes, she was one of the people I asked to look at this speech. Your time at college will end, but the meaningful connections you make don't have to. So as you start this next chapter, find your editor, both for your writing and for your life. Tip number 2, update your comfort zone. For 4 years, you've been in the Churchill bubble, although last year that bubble has looked a lot like your house. You've been reminded and pressured to be models of success and perfection. Failure is not a word in many a Churchill parent's vocabulary. In many ways, this has been a gift, but it can also lead to uncertainty about the changes ahead. The universe is big, it's vast and complicated and ridiculous, and sometimes, very rarely, impossible things just happen. So go seek those seemingly impossible things. Take your class schedule as your first opportunity. In high school, it was regimented. But good news, that's over. You'll have core and major specific requirements, of course, but you also have a much larger pool of electives to choose from. Now is your chance to take a subject purely because you find it interesting. Don't worry about how it looks on your transcript. Don't worry if your parents like it. Don't even worry about if you're going to ace it or not, because most schools have pass no credit options. Learn how to be comfortable with something that makes you uncomfortable. To take this tip metaphorically again, that can also mean getting comfortable using failure. I mentioned failure because when I met with some of your wonderful class leaders, they asked about hearing about failure. So let's talk failure. And one I think some of you may be able to relate to, I failed to get into my top choice of university. I was crushed, to say the least. But the trick is to not stay crushed for long. Instead, come back with a vengeance. Decide to never feel that way again. When I went to TCU, I threw myself into everything academically, professionally, and socially. If I was going to be stuck at my number 2 choice, I was going to make sure I never got stuck at a second choice again. And hey, I did end up actually loving TCU. Failure isn't a pit, it's a ladder. It's a uniquely powerful motivation to never feel the way that failure stung. Learn from it, be comfortable using your failure as a lesson rather than something to fear. Because you will keep failing, but you can make it work to your advantage. Tip number 3, make sure you're managing up. As you leave Churchill today, you all are the top dogs. Pun intended. You're the presidents, captains, or editors-in-chief, but that's about to get a reset. You're headed back to the bottom of the food chain, which means you'll need to work at managing up. To be aware of all of your boss's needs, whims, and idiosyncrasies so you can thrive in any situation, whether that's an on-campus job or your first internship. When you first start, your main job is to make your superior's life easier. Sure, learn as much as you can, but convince your boss their life was easier with you around. That's how you make a lasting impression. Try to anticipate needs as much as possible, but also recognizing that sometimes it's better to just be quiet and listen. You're about to encounter all new sorts of bosses and coworkers, all with different backgrounds and communication styles. Some will appreciate the blunt approach. My first anchor, and luckily still a good friend, was like this. As an intern, my first real conversation with him was correcting him on the number and nature of Bill Clinton's affairs. In his defense, they were numerous. For other people, you'll need to be careful to manage their feelings and expectations. I had a correspondent who needed to let vent about everything that had gone wrong that day before you could get them on board with what you needed. So learn to read the signs of your new managers and constantly be thinking about the next step. Tip number 4, say yes to everything. And I don't mean say yes to everything in the FOMO kind of way. I mean say yes to every opportunity. You will never need less sleep or bounce back from an all-nighter faster than the 4 years ahead of you. Trust me, I've already seen my decline. But this boundless energy is your excuse to say yes to every event, every internship, every job, every football game, and almost every party. I'll be honest, they're not all winners. It's up to you to decide what to do with the time you've been given. During my senior year, I was finishing up my 2nd degree, running student media, freelancing with CBS, in a sorority, writing and then defending my thesis, and working for the baseball team. And with all of that, I still only missed attending 1 TCU football game. So believe me when I say, you can do it all if you work for it. The college setup leaves you with an extremely workable amount of time outside the classroom, something you all have had plenty of practice with when you switched to this new virtual hybrid. So keep doing that. The slogan of my freshman dorm was work hard, play hard, and it's a motto that I stand by to this day. Embrace your youthful energy and say yes to it all. Tip number 5, be constantly thankful. And no, not in that cliche, hideous novelty mug kind of way. I mean in the very practical and very useful way where you're always aware of everyone working with you. Yes, your team project will let you down at some point, but there will be many more instances when the people working with you will be the difference between your success or failure. Behind every correspondent you see on TV, there is a team of producers and technicians making it possible. Whenever assignment I am on, I'll make sure if my team works for me that I show my gratitude the entire time. Whether that's a kind word, bringing them coffee, or making sure others know what a great job they did. A little consideration, a little thought for others, makes all the difference. There will always be someone else who can do what you do. But if you're more enjoyable to work with, and people know that, then you have an edge. So I encourage you to always remember everyone helping you. In fact, let's practice right now. I want you to thank every teacher, coach, friend, or family member who helped you get here today with a round of applause. So there you have it. 5 suggestions I hope will help you make the most of your time in college and your life ahead. But if you zoned out through all of it, listen up. I have 2 final pieces of wisdom. Number 1, many schools base parking off of how many hours you have, and since I know you all took a ton of APs, try to get sophomore parking as a freshman. Number 2, avoid 8 a.m. classes whenever possible. Trust me, 8 a.m. will hit way different in college, even if you think you're used to it now. As a class, you've had a tougher go of it than many, but if you overcome watching teachers struggle with Zoom for a year with your sanity intact, I'm betting you'll do just fine out there. So congratulations to all of you. Go out into the world and be absolutely fantastic.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Liz, for your kind and meaningful words. I remember my oldest brother's graduation at Dar Constitution Hall in 2014. I was graduating 5th grade that year, so I was a little put off by a celebration that was not about me, but I allowed it. Now, Dar Constitution Hall is huge. Looking down, I saw all the graduates and listened to all the speeches. Never in 1,000,000 years did I think I would be in front of the graduating class giving a speech, but here I am. It would be a tiny bit easier to talk to 2,000 screens over Zoom rather than in a stadium, but I will commence as I'm truly grateful and happy to speak today. Churchill seems scary. Always in middle school, you'd hear teachers saying that wouldn't fly in high school. But the minute you get your routine down your freshman year, you know where to sit during lunch, you know that the classroom numbers do not match up at all. You know how to squeeze into a math or English hallway. You've adapted to high school and continue working hard to get through that first year. Then comes sophomore year, some more responsibilities, some harder classes. Then junior year, more freedom, harder classes, a worldwide pandemic, all key parts of the high school experience. Finally, our senior year started virtually. We thought we'd be the upperclassmen, top dogs, but that's hard to do over Zoom. We had no fall football games, no homecoming, no real senior year feel. We lost a lot. We lost what our older siblings had. We lost what our 5th and 8th grade selves dreamed about. We were prepared to wake up early, maybe stop by Dunkin' quickly, and secure a parking spot to make it just in time for first period. But what we thought was momentous for us shifted, and we pivoted. We didn't stop and dwell on these facts. We instead persisted and succeeded. We succeeded in our classes and in our community. Our classmates created their own businesses and donated portions of their earnings to support our community. Our classmates published books on educating children about the pandemic. We've gone to protest for Black Lives Matter in the middle of a pandemic. Some of us were able to vote. Some of us earned Boy Scouts' highest honor, the Eagle Scout, and Girl Scouts' highest honor, the Gold Award. Some of us interned for representatives of Congress. Some of us were awarded Future Mental Health Leader Awards. Some of us are committed to D1 sports. And even with the crazy college admission process, we're still able to find our next steps in life. And all of us somehow managed to turn in all of our late assignments to be here today. With all of these accomplishments in mind, I think we can see how groundbreaking this group really is and why I'm so honored to represent them every day. Class of 2021, I hope you were proud of yourselves. You truly outdid yourselves. Our class has nothing but unlimited potential. We have accomplished an enormous goal of completing high school in the face of much change, anxiety, and uncertainty. Just 4 years ago, we were scared freshmen, worrying about if maybe we would get asked to homecoming, what time to get to football games, or if we could handle waking up early every morning. But we are here today. We survived, grew, and prospered. As you approach your next steps in life, you may have doubts. You may worry you're not good enough. You may worry you don't belong or you can't handle it. But look back on this year and the years we spent at Churchill. With your accomplishments you've made in high school, with surviving full curriculums in a whole new setting, with having the opportunity to pivot and adapt to a new setting, with the community here at Churchill, please see anything is doable. You are good enough. Work hard just like we did these past 4 years. Winston Churchill says, to improve is to change, to be perfect is to change often. So respond and adapt to changes with agility, a skill we added to our toolkit this year. Our lives are about to change forever for the better, but Churchill and this class will always be a part of all of our journeys, and I'm so grateful for it. Relationships and support don't leave you when you leave Churchill. If they can survive a pandemic, they can survive anything. I would now like to thank all the building service staff, the teachers, administration, and everyone who's been working double time this year to make sure we could safely go back to school, and that have provided us with an amazing foundation of skills. Your work has definitely not gone unnoticed. I'd also like to give a huge thank you to the senior parents who have helped make several opportunities for seniors to see each other at events in person. Having the option to go back in person and attend these organized events definitely made a community feel that I'm so grateful for. And of course, to our class sponsor, Ms. Schoen. There is no other teacher I'd rather work with and who'd fight for us as much as you do. And I would like to make a request to each and every student here. Thank your parents, please. I know today is all about us, obviously, as it always should be. But today, take 5 minutes to just thank everyone who has supported you. I'm sure my brother Riley would have rather driven more of a morning person to school that actually woke up to their first alarm. But I'm very thankful for our ABBA-filled morning drives to school. So please thank your parents or supporters for everything they've done for you today. And have confidence in your next steps. You are surrounded by an amazing group of students with diverse talents. You are a part of this group, and we truly are Churchill. Have a wonderful evening, and congratulations, fellow graduates. It is now my honor to introduce Principal Brandeis Heckert. This is Principal Heckert's third year at Churchill. She came in with the motto, every student, every day. Her focus on relationship building and elevating student voices vibrated as she greeted us in the morning, attended all of our events, and created countless Zoom meetings for us. The first summer she got to Churchill, she had a quote by Winston Churchill painted on her office wall that reads, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." Principal Heckert, while we can't be sure you knew exactly what you were getting yourself into being a principal during a pandemic, we thank you for all you've given us. You've given us your smile in the midst of the unknown. You've given us your laugh in the midst of constant change. You've given us your ear in the midst of our fears. You've given us a safe space in the midst of chaos. And you've given your support, love, and dedication in the midst of a pandemic. Principal Heckert, from the class of 2021, thank you for giving us you.
Thank you, Maeve, for the kind words. And greetings again to the class of 2021. And again, I welcome our families, staff, and friends to the commencement ceremony for the Winston Churchill class of 2021. I also want to thank our cluster principals for their support of our community and for providing such a strong K-12 experience for our students. Thank you to our distinguished guests, Ms. Silvestri, Ms. Dyson, and Dr. Moran, for your support of the Churchill Cluster and all students, staff, and families in MCPS. I also would like to acknowledge Dr. Joan Benz, as she was your principal your freshman year. We have several staff members that are retiring from MCPS this year. Ms. Michelle Lee, Ms. Angie Polis, Mr. Clint Sanford, and Ms. Teresa Spencer. We wish them all the best. I want to also take the time to recognize our administrative team, counselors, and staff for their unwavering support and dedication to the community, especially in these challenging times. A special thank you to our building service team, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Schnapp, and Mr. Smith, for all of their technical support and beautification of our stadium and campus for today's beautiful ceremony. Thank you to our two graduation coordinators, Ms. Aristian and Ms. Van Tassel, as well as our senior class sponsor, Ms. Schoen. You have done amazing things to get us here today. I also want to thank the PTSA for the handheld fans. They are also doubling as cicada swatters. And to the Booster Club because they donated the water for us this afternoon. So thank you to them. And now it's time to brag a little bit about the class of 2021. So you are 540 strong, and your resilience in the face of adversity is beyond a doubt. You have overcome challenges not only during the pandemic, but throughout your education, and you are stronger as a result. Among you today sits activists, humanitarians, artists, caregivers, athletes, scientists, journalists, and musicians. You are humble, sincere, compassionate, generous, and adaptable. Your class has much to be proud of. You've accumulated over 98,000 hours of community service. 165 of you are receiving a purple tassel, acknowledging that you have completed over 240 hours of student service learning. And we have one graduate who has earned 1,082 hours alone. Thank you for your generosity and for giving back to our community and to others. Your class has currently reported earning $5 million worth of scholarships. We have minority scholars, governor's merit scholars, distinguished Hispanic scholars, and presidential scholars, just to name a few. Among you, 6 classmates going to 2-year colleges, trade schools, and some plan to continue their education overseas or will be working. 93% of you plan on attending 4-year colleges, with over 5,000 college applications submitted to 400 universities or colleges. Out of the thousands of acceptances received by this class, almost 20% will be heading to the University of Maryland College Park in the fall, and about 10% of the class will be heading to colleges. They will be the only Churchill Bulldog in the freshman class. Nine students have committed to play varsity level athletics, and 4% of the class is the first generation in their family to go to college. Congratulations. 94 of you have earned a seal of biliteracy, demonstrating proficiency in one or more of the following languages: Spanish, Russian, Chinese, Ukrainian, French, Japanese, Bulgarian, German, and Tagalog. I want to personally thank those who have chosen to walk across this stage and serve our country in one of the armed services. Among you, we have a graduate accepted and attending the Air Force Academy, a graduate accepted and attending the Coast Guard, and a graduate accepted and attending the United States Naval Academy. We are forever grateful for your selfless decision and dedication. If you have served, are currently serving, or will be serving our country, would you please stand? Thank you for your service. So here's the part of the speech in which I impart my advice for each of you in your future. And I've always been a fan of the Chinese proverb, just when the caterpillar thought the world was over, it became a butterfly. It serves as a reminder to persevere through the journey when we run into adverse situations. The past 8 months have been difficult. You have sacrificed normal and embraced unknowns. You have lost traditions and embraced challenges. There are countless opportunities ahead of you and limitless possibilities to succeed. Be true to yourself and to your heart. And just like the caterpillar learned, there is more beyond the horizon that you are destined to achieve and become. Many of you have lost loved ones during this time. It is never too late to let the people in your life know that they matter and that you love them, for their support, their unconditional love, and their guidance. Please take the time today and every day to thank them and appreciate them. Every day when I pick my daughter up from school, and many of you know she's in kindergarten, I ask her many things, but the most important question I ask her is, who did you make smile today? And I hope you continue to be the reason someone smiles every day. As Maeve said, if you've ever been in my office, you know I have a quote from Winston Churchill painted on my wall by a former graduate. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Never stop giving to others, and always appreciate those that have given to you. To the class of 2021, you have given me more than you will ever know. Thank you for being so welcoming, for sharing your sophomore, junior, and senior year with me, and most importantly, thank you for all you have given to others. I will forever be grateful and wish you nothing but the best. I leave you with this. Butterflies cannot see their wings, but the rest of the world can. You are beautiful, and while you may not see it, we can. Thank you for being beautiful, and I am proud of you. Now please join me in welcoming our Board of Education member, Ms. Carla Silvestri. She has the honor of officially awarding your diplomas. She currently serves as the Vice President of the Board of Education. I knew there was going to be a cicada at one point that came across the stage. She serves as the chairperson of the Board of Education Strategic Planning Committee and as a member of the Committee on Special Populations and the Communication and Stakeholder Engagement Committee. She has been very involved with Montgomery County Public Schools, including having served on the MCCPTA Curriculum Committee as a member of the MCPS Latino Student Achievement Action Group, and as a board member of the Woodland Elementary School PTA. Ms. Silvestri, on behalf of the faculty and staff of Winston Churchill High School, I recommend to you the members of the class of 2021 as qualified candidates for the State of Maryland diploma.
Good afternoon. It is an honor to be here today to bring greetings and congratulations on behalf of the Board of Education. If there's anything I learned this year, is to be grateful for what we have. And I want to extend my sincere gratitude to the teachers, counselors, building servants, workers, food and nutrition staff, every single person that works in this building that helped you get to this point today. I also want to give my sincere thanks to all the families, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, friends that also have supported you to get you through to today. So please, let's give them all a big round of applause. Now it is my distinct honor to certify the class of 2021. By virtue of the authority vested in the Board of Education of Montgomery County, under the laws of the state of Maryland, I do now award diplomas evidencing the satisfactory completion of prescribed courses of study to the students of Winston Churchill High School who are recommended for graduation by the faculty of this school. In receiving this diploma, each of you is entitled to all the privileges and honors accorded graduates of a high school accredited by the Maryland State Department of Education. Congratulations, graduates.
Maeve McGuire. Lucy Lynn. Cameron Barclay. Jessica Hu. Sangeet Anand. Armand Philippe Chococom. Tristan Wan. Sidari Sadegi. We would also like to take a minute to recognize those graduates who aren't at the ceremony this afternoon. Ariana Asan. William Breen. Gianluca Baransconi Marconi. Rocio Caneda Arguelles. Yimeng Cao. Gabriela Castillo. Kirei Chen. Matthew Chin. Toby Edelschick. Bryce Bibas. Dylan Fisher. Rohil Gaglani. Anna Gordon. Rigel Goodrich. Sang Hong. Chris Jiang. Renee Kamya. Justin Lee. Jian Yang Long. Michael McNamara. Sina Manzari. Danny Martinez. Koki Matsuoka. Caitlin McCabe. Cleo Paez, Maxime Richard Weiss, Aaron Simon, Cole Smith, Thomas Sudak, Trudy Sun, Tiffany Sun, Kenzo Sai, Patrick Todd, Jillian Wesson, Rafa Zaman, Sophia Moore, Emily Abramson, Ariane Agmieri, Basim Ahmed, Ishmam Ahmed, Alexandra Alexeyeva, Musab Ali, Alyssa Allen, Athir Al-Rayami, Anusha Anand, Cyrus Andalibi, Ryan Angelastro, Arman Aurora, Aiden Ashrafi, Ariel Asseline, Annie Ah, Maxient Adeshe, Candace Austin, Trinity Austin, Anastasia Avreen, Marjan Azimi, Baba Ali Ba, Zachary Babers, Braden Backlock, Charles Baggett, Anisha Ball, Juan Bajana, Benedict Ballman, Farah Baloglanova, Louis Beneng, Ariant Bopna, Madeline Bell, Samita Bellamkonda, Isabel Berman, Rebecca Bernstein, Mohan Bandahari, Nagander Bular, Garrett Birnbaum, Marissa Birnbaum, Michael Block, Kylie Blois, Edward Bocam, Kathy Bowman, Nicholas Borelli, Matthew Branning. Valentina Breslawek. Nicholas Brameyer. Daniel Brodsky. Brianna Brown. Malia Bush. Mawila Buegpi. Luke Calhoun. Emily Cow. Sophia Caparuso. Emilia Capolino. Isabella Caraballo. Zoe Cardno. Maya Carrasco de Silva. Matthew Carter. Cyrus Castro. Phoebe Chambers. Andrew Chan. Jason Chan. Alyssa Charles. Romita Chattaraj. Richard Chichile. Aaron Chen. Cassie Chen. Ethan Chen. Guan Nimoa. Lin Chen. Yuhang Chen. Jefferson Chang. Fallon Chernoff. Eric Shi. Anish Chickaswamy. Shivali Chickaswamy. Dylan Chu. Cameron Choina. Jonathan Sean. Rafe Chowdhury. Sophia Chowdhury. Daniel Chudney. Ross Clem. Zoe Klein. Donald Cook. Charlotte Cooper. Nicholas Costa Quiroga. Claire Cooey. Zachary Cutler. Meredith Daniels. Dwayne Davis.
Isel DeBakey. Lauren De Silva. Anthony Desiderio Sholi. Ari Deichman. Amina Dar. Vivian Dong. Makai Dove. Mitchell Dove. Naveen Durbakula. Garen Dye. Michael Edmondson. Elias Eldada. Kareem El Qassem. Tobin Ellis. Reda El Korchi. Melissa Irvin. Dylan Ettinger. Thalia Isles. Uzoma Ezuma Engo. Marcus Fabina. Kaylin Fagan. Claire Fan. Julie Fan. Max Feng. Ava Fialo. Chloe Black. Matias Flores. Gabriela Floreza. Sierra Foreman. Harrison Forrest. Nikolai Forrest. William Foster. Ethan Frank. Ava Freeman. Jake Freeman. Matthew Freeman. Sarah Burks. Talia Gabrielle. Trevor Gardamal. Alejandra Gaviria Rosso. Dekanti Bahe. Michael Yee. Sarah Gen. Noel George. Hiba Garza. Catherine Gilligan. Sasha Ginniger. Juan Giraldo. Nathan Gurma. Brooke Glickman. Alexa Gold. Chloe Goldberg. Sarah Goldberg. Daniel Goldschmidt Hopkinson. Ethan Goltz. Angelica Gonzalez Fuentes. Gordon Goodfellow. Elias Greer. David Gross. Annika Gupta. Monica Gupta. Maya Guttridge. Gloria Guzman. Cole Hagland. Michelle Halpern. Luke Halpern. I'm okay. Thomas Hammer. Nicole Han Kim. Annika Hando. Taliesin Harley. Parker Harrison. Alonzo. Alonzo Hart Southworth. Aya Hatashima. Andres Hayden Vasquez. Dante Hayes Holland. Holly Hebden. John Henna. Bailey Herman. Vivian Hertz Minoso. Natalie Heshmat. Parker Hill. Nathaniel Hollingsworth. Liana Horsey. Sydney Horvitz. Audrey Hooton. Abigail Howard. Ruby Howard. Daniel Hu. Ethan Huang. Sammy Huck. Robert Humiston. Nicholas Humphreys. Alan Hung. Brian Hung. Charlie Hutton. Daniel Hyatt. Omotorera Ibrahim. Joseph Ibrahim. Ethan Inglisa. Fatima Iqbal.
Nabiha Iqbal. Samuel Eisen. Allison Jacobs. Joshua Jacobson. Mary James. Isabella Jen. Dylan Jun. Sung-hee Eunjung. Andy Jiang. Gerald Johnston. Antonio Jones. Brian Ju. Gavin Justament. Allison Kaiser. Christopher Kalset. Priya Kalsi. Alan Cambu. Ella Kaminsky. Noah Candle. Micah Kaplan. Diana Karakanal. Evan Cash. Ezra Kaufman. Kieran Kaur. Arman Kavusi. Aya Kelani. Catherine Kelly. Jordan Kennedy. Maxwell Kessler. Maria Kakbaz. Sohrab Kalvati. Malcolm Kiza. Claire Kim. Jackson Kim. Jessica Klein. Whitney Klein. Shri Harsha Kala. Alexander Cordell. And Sikan Kuasi Brew. Alessandro Kovacs. Katina Koicheva. Connie Kramer. Kevin Kramer. Lucy Kremer. It's like a traffic jam. Jack Kustner. How was that? Catherine Cutson. Albert Lacaze. Serena Landsman. Jacob Lang. Lexi Lang. Antoine Lay. Antu Lay. Brian Lee. Sanjay Robinson. Trey Brown. Maiko Yelovich. Chloe Lieb. Maya Lieb. James Lemus. Lex Levin. Evan Levitt. Ryan Lee. Thomas Lee. Charles Lynn. Heather Lynn. David Liu.
Yeah, you guys are up one.
Rachel Liu. Samantha Liu. Michael Lipson. Logan, Colvin Lognathan. Bernard Loyacono Evans. Elena Liu. Jason Luo. Jeffrey Luo. Kirsten Lyons. Max Ma. Keenan Mahalik. Zach McKay. Shannon Mahan. Lasole Mahine. David Malament. Shane Malamut. Matthew Mamalian. Forrest Mannon. Shaya Manzari. Evan Mao. Samuel Margel. Ethan Martin. Arland Matthias. Duncan Mackery. Matthew McGovern. Alex Porter. Vikram Menon. Aristides Marios. Grace Marola. Samantha Mervis. Olivia Mashenko. Cristobal Meza Palacios. Venice Mezger.
Don Miller. Cedric Milongo. Cameron Molan. Eric Mollard. William Moore. Hugo Moran Alfaro. Jimena Moreno Chaza. Leila Matazetti. Jayton Mukherjee. Perrin Myers. Tanvi Neville. Abdur Rahman Nima. Hatien Nguyen. Al Nie. Kristen Nikolov. Crystal New. Taryn Noonan. Gavin Norman. Marcus Nunez Vieira. Daniel Nasrati. Sydney Newtacker. Luke O'Brien. Taylor Oden. Riley O'Donnell. Ikena Onochiedo. Andrew Ortolani. Grace Adesua Usagi. Charles Osborne. Zachary Osborne. Connor Owens. Alexandra Pace. Isabella Padilla. Patrick Pamacholu. Sanjan Pancholi. Evan Papire. Dominic Parcia. Samuel Parsons. Abigail Pashkoff. Norbert Pasking. Ava Perlstein. Matthew Pelliter. Felix Perez Delmases. Taylor Petway. Haley Phillips. Joshua Pilarski. Ava Pintucci. Isabella Polglaze. Elizabeth Porter. Riley Porter. Alexandria Primich. Danielle Probert. Jack Punda. Joshua Putvane. Olivia Quinn. William Radford. Gabriella Radisi. Ashviha Raman. Jet Raj. Sydney Redwood. Torin Reese. Jordan Rayson. Sarah Rizzo. Michael Robinson. Tyler Wrong. Shoshana Rosenthal. Benjamin Rothenberg. Sydney Rubin. Aaron Rumfola. Kennedy Rush. Allie Salzberg. Austin Sankanung. Zoe Schapp. Ethan Shartner. Benjamin Sheck. Sarah Chavone. Elijah Schiff. Noah Schiff. Gary Schwartz. Logan Schwartzbeck. Ethan Schwartzberg. Quentin Scott. Nicole Siegel. Zachary Siegel. Daniel Seligman. Sarah Selvaraj. Jaisal Shah. Atharva Sharma. Harry Sharman. Carly Shear. Joshua Shane. Zachary Shane. Holly Shimabukuro. Abigail Schmelis. Benjamin Shin. Ashley Naomi Shula. Jay Shrestha. Nicholas Sieg. Sage Singh. Sean Simon. Harbin Singh. Eleanor Smedberg. Crayana Smith.
Amna Sohail. Vaibhav Sorirajan. Daniela Sperling. Alex Stackman. Jack Statter. Julia Stein. Melanie Steinberg. Kayla Stevenson. James Strand. Andrew Sue. Suprita Subramanian. Supriya Subramanian. Ethan Sundell. Madison Sunshine. Dominic Suskind. Kevin Sirks. Daniel Tahari. Ziana Tampi Bravo. Esther Tan. Julia Taylor. Michael Taylor. Sonia Thacker. Tage Thamby. Dagmawi Teodros. Adam Thomas. Yatil Tizail. Emily Tong. Benjamin Trainer. Jaden Tran. Ileana Trembisky. Cole Trone. Chiami Tulin. Bhargav Tumkur. Karam Turanli. Jaden Turgot. Mariana Uribe. Jason Vance. Nathan Varner. Vikram Vij. Sabrina Villedigut. Madeline Vinal. Alyssa Vu. Kobe Wang. Ben Wang. Samuel Wank. Rohan Wadum. Esther Way. Edina Weinbaum. Summer Wells. Lenara Welty. Kelly Whalen. Aaliyah White. Max Wiederhorn. Lene Wyndham. Matthew Wynn. Aaron Wong. Krista Wong. Jay Wood. John Wardock. Amberly Wu. Hyleen Wu. Priscilla Wu. Jay Wu. Kelly Shao. Evan Shu. Ethan Shu. Andrew Shui. Mahdi Yazdi. Jeffrey Yi. Kaylin Yo. Catherine Yi. Kevin Yin. Claire Yinger. Justin Young. Crystal Yu. David Yu. Kelly Yu. Vincent Yu. Asher Zach. Delila Zamudio. Alan Jang. Ellen Jang. Emily Jang. Grace Jang. Emily Zhao. Vincent Zhao. Ava Zhou. Jennifer Zhou. Bertrand Zhu. Cleavon Zhu. Ben Long Zuo.
Class of 2021, please stand. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." Class of 2021, believe in yourself and make your dreams happen. Join your classmates in turning your tassel from the right to the left. Congratulations to the class of 2021.